Let us begin the plot commentary for episode 183. Before watching, please drop a like to support us. After bidding farewell to Donghua, hanli traveled alone towards city of Tianjin. 1 month later, hanli, entirely by himself, appeared in the skis above the wilderness outside city of Tianjin, gazing from afar at the massive city not far away. That day, after reluctantly parting with Donghua, he immediately headed straight for the state of Yu. However, midway through his journey, he caught wind of the news that the cultivator armies had officially engaged in a grand battle at the border of the state of Fengyuan and the state of Yu. As a result, the main force of the Nine Nations Covenant suffered successive crushing defeats. After losing 3 consecutive battles, they were forced to rely on several restrictive grand formations to barely defend a few strategic locations. Upon hearing this, hanli naturally knit his brows in a deep frown. Regrettably, no one knew the specific details. Only after entering the state of Yu did he learn slightly more detailed information from the mouths of other cultivators. It appeared that the Mulan spell warriors had somehow brought forth several primeval giant beasts, catching the cultivators of the Nine Nations Covenant completely off guard. Although city of Tianjin had currently lifted its air restrictions, it had reactivated most of the restrictions of the Grand Primordial Annihilation Formation. It seemed this grand city of cultivators belonging to the Nine Nations Covenant had truly entered a state of war. hanli watched quietly for a moment, and then, with a shift of his body, he transformed into a streak of brilliant azure light, streaking directly toward the city gates. At the city gates, 7 or 8 cultivators stood guard. Seeing the dazzling azure light hanli had transformed into flying rapidly toward them, an old core formation cultivator intended to step forward and question him. But the moment his spiritual sense swept casually over the azure light, his expression drastically shifted. "Welcome, Senior, to the Grand Assembly. May I ask for Senior's honored name? Junior is bound by duty and must register your arrival." The old man immediately offered a deep, respectful bow. "Grand Assembly? What Grand Assembly?" hanli's heart stirred, and he asked with an expressionless face. "Senior is not here for the Grand Assembly. Could it be that Senior is a rogue cultivator?" The old man was momentarily dazed, speaking with some surprise. "No, I am a cultivator of the Heavenly Tao Alliance. Because the Mulan people are coming with fierce momentum this time, our Nine Nations Covenant cannot withstand them alone. Therefore, we have already issued a request for alliance to the other powers. Since Senior is a Heavenly Tao Alliance cultivator, you only need to report your name and sect to enter the city." The old man explained cautiously. "hanli of the Drifting Cloud sect." With flashing eyes, hanli stated his name. Yet his brows knit tightly within his mind. It seemed this trip would not be as simple as he had imagined. The moment the old man heard hanli state his name, he did not even attempt to verify it. He hurriedly stepped aside, respectfully ushering hanli into the city. Upon the streets of city of Tianjin, cultivators were noticeably scarcer compared to when the trade market was held. Furthermore, everyone bore an expression of deep worry. It was clear that the news of the battlefield defeats had long since spread. With a calm expression, hanli walked toward the pavilion where he had previously resided. If Mu Paling and the others had not yet departed, they should still be staying there. Before long, hanli stood outside the pavilion. Sweeping his spiritual sense inside to perceive the auras, a relatively weak spiritual fluctuation appeared on the 2nd floor. hanli smiled faintly, silently breaching the restriction. "Young master, you have finally returned." The moment Mu Paling opened her beautiful eyes and saw hanli standing before her, she couldn't help but cry out in pleasant surprise. "Neither you nor Senior Martial Brother Lu left this place as agreed. Could I choose not to return?" hanli sighed, speaking with a trace of helplessness. However, after taking a few extra glances at Mu Paling, he let out a light chuckle. "But I truly did not expect that you would actually break through your bottleneck during this time, entering the mid-foundation establishment stage. This is truly a matter worth congratulating. This concubine only luckily broke through half a month ago. This is entirely thanks to the efficacy of young master's medicinal pills. Mu Paling was also exceptionally excited. As she spoke, her beautiful countenance appeared even more charming and enchanting. Hanli's mind wavered slightly upon seeing this, but he soon rubbed his nose, his mental state returning to its usual calm. That you and senior martial brother Lu did not leave this place, is it because of the spell warriors? Young master has guessed correctly. Senior Lu and I did indeed intend to return as soon as the trade market concluded. But who could have anticipated that near the end of the market, news of the spell warriors' invasion would arrive? Senior Lu, as a nascent soul cultivator of the Heavenly Tao Alliance stationed in city of Tianjin, had no choice but to remain behind to discuss countermeasures with the other powers. Thus, this concubine was delayed here as well. If that's the case, it truly cannot be blamed on you both. However, where is senior martial brother Lu now? Just as Hanli was about to continue questioning, a look of slight surprise suddenly surfaced on his face. The loud shout of a young man suddenly echoed from outside the pavilion. Is Daoist friend Mu within? I am Bai Shujun. I request Daoist friend Mu to come out for a meeting. Who is this person? Did you get to know him recently? Hanli swept his spiritual sense outward, and with a single glance he discovered a refined-looking core formation youth. Mu Paling's face paled instantly. She hurriedly explained, "Young master, please do not misunderstand. This person is a disciple under an elder of the Heavenly Polar sect. He happened to see me by chance a few days ago and has been pestering me relentlessly since. I already stated that I am young master's concubine, yet he refuses to relent. Oh, for such a matter to occur, does senior martial brother Lu know of it? I have informed senior Lu about this. However, senior Lu seems to know that Heavenly Polar sect elder and harbors some apprehension. He told me to superficially deal with it for the time being and wait until young master returns before deciding anything. The Heavenly Polar sect, one of the four great sects of the righteous Tao Alliance. No wonder senior martial brother Lu was so cautious. Nonetheless, for a mere core formation cultivator to dare be so presumptuous. Come down with me. Let us see what intentions this junior truly harbors." Hanli spoke no further and stepped out of the room, with Mu Paling following closely behind him. "Daoist friend Mu, you have finally, Seeing someone emerge from the pavilion, the youth who called himself Bai Shujun perceived that Hanli's cultivation was unfathomably deep. His expression shifted instantly as he offered his greetings. At this moment, Mu Paling also stepped out from behind Hanli, standing closely by his side. "You are a disciple of the Heavenly Polar sect." Hanli's face darkened and he questioned the youth in an unfriendly tone. "Correct. Junior is a disciple under Elder Lu of the Heavenly Polar sect. Could it be that senior is senior Han?" Bai Shujun was indeed somewhat extraordinary. Even when facing a nascent soul cultivator like Hanli, the panic on his face only flashed for a fleeting moment. "Speak. What exactly is your meaning? Why have you been relentlessly pestering my concubine? To do something so mindless, you must have another purpose." Upon hearing these words, a trace of astonishment surfaced on Mu Paling's jade-like face. "Senior is wise. In truth, my master wished to meet Senior. However, seeing that there had been no news of Senior Han, he instructed Junior to act in this manner. Nevertheless, I truly do admire Taoist friend Mu. If Senior is willing to fulfill my wish, Junior will certainly be infinitely grateful. What use have I for your gratitude? Stop dreaming. I, Han, am not in the habit of giving away my concubines. On the other hand, I have had no dealings with your Heavenly Polar sect. Why go to such lengths to draw me out?" Hanli narrowed his eyes, casting a knowing glance toward an empty space to the side, a strange smile appearing on his face. Simultaneously, a sky-piercing, staggering spiritual pressure erupted from his body. The youth surnamed Bai suffered a great change in expression, stumbling backward several meters. Following this, his shoulders sank as though Mount Tai were pressing down upon him. Just as he was about to fall to his knees, a white silhouette suddenly emerged from the side. A palm lightly patted his shoulder. Instantly, the pressure on the near-kneeling Bai Shujun abruptly diminished, allowing him to stand upright once more. This was an old man in white robes with graying hair. He possessed a benevolent countenance and upright features. Taoist friend Han, please do not anger. In truth, it was this old man who instructed my disciple to act in this manner. Otherwise, I would have been unable to meet you until now. How should I address your excellency? Why did you wish to see me? If I remember correctly, this seems to be my first time dealing with your noble sect, and I have never met your excellency before. Haha, this old man is Lu Weiying, currently occupying the position of an elder in the heavenly polar sect. As for wanting to see you, the reasons are not convenient to discuss in detail here. If Taoist friend wishes to know the root of the matter, let us gather at this location tonight. This elder Lu flicked his hand, and a pre-prepared green jade slip flew toward hanli. With an expressionless face, hanli swept his large sleeve, releasing a cloud of azure mist that rolled the jade slip into his sleeve. As his spiritual sense swept briefly over the object within his sleeve, it did indeed contain an address. Just as hanli raised his hand to say something, the old man of the heavenly polar sect clasped his hands in a salute, drifting away alongside the youth surnamed Bai. hanli rubbed his chin, temporarily unable to make heads or tails of the matter. Therefore, he did not strike to intercept them. After considering it for a moment, he led Mu Paling back into the pavilion. "Where is senior martial brother Lu now?" hanli asked calmly upon entering the pavilion. "I heard that the battle at the front lines is critical. Senior Lu went to discuss countermeasures with them." "Discussing countermeasures? In what location?" "Right in the grand discussion hall of City of Tianqian. I heard that as long as one's cultivation has reached the nascent soul stage, cultivators from any major power can participate. Could it be that young master wishes to take a look?" Mu Paling spoke in a soft voice. "Very well. I happen to want to understand the situation regarding the spell warriors. I will go there first to take a look. Furthermore, you shall stay here and not venture outside casually." The so-called Grand Discussion Hall was actually constructed beneath a massive high platform situated at the very center of the city, exceptionally eye-catching. However, unless a major matter concerning the life and death of the Nine Nations Covenant arose, this structure usually served merely as a symbolic location, with very few people ever visiting. Yet, after a century, following the news of the Mulan people's reinvasion, the upper echelons of the Nine Nations Covenant opened this grand hall without the slightest hesitation, summoning the cultivators of other powers to discuss matters together. After all, the spell warriors came with fierce momentum this time. It seemed difficult for the Nine Nations Covenant to withstand them alone. When hanli arrived before the grand discussion hall, the guards at the entrance perceived hanli's cultivation. After inquiring for his name, they immediately reported inside. hanli very easily obtained permission to enter. Then, under the respectful guidance of a cultivator, he entered the grand hall. The nascent soul cultivators discussing matters within the hall were not many, numbering only about a dozen. Senior martial brother Lu sat upon a wooden chair on the left side, smilingly looking toward him. The individual seated right next to him was also someone he recognized. It was actually the child fire dragon. As for the others, aside from an old man in yellow robes, they were entirely unfamiliar to him. After taking a few extra glances at the old man in yellow robes, hanli couldn't help but sigh in his heart. This old man was precisely Ancestor Ling Hu of the former Yellow Maple Valley. When Ancestor Ling Hu saw hanli, his expression remained completely normal, without revealing the slightest anomaly. Was it that he failed to recognize a former Mere Foundation establishment disciple, or was his plotting mind deep enough to mask his emotions entirely? hanli shifted his gaze. Aside from those few individuals, at the very center of the grand hall, sat an old man with a purple complexion and an elegant, noble woman dressed in palace robes. When hanli's spiritual sense briefly probed the two, his heart jolted. Both possessed mid-nascent soul cultivations. They must be the primary figures in charge of the Nine Nations Covenant. While hanli scanned the various cultivators within the hall, The other cultivators in the hall simultaneously sized up this newly arrived youth. The majority of them were clearly surprised by the youthfulness of Hanli's appearance. After all, cultivation arts suitable for male cultivators that could permanently retain youth were indeed exceedingly rare. Junior Marshal Brother Han, you have finally arrived. Take a seat. We are currently discussing the matter of the Mulen people with Sect Master Wu and the others. Luluo greeted him with a smile. To the side, the child fire dragon also revealed a trace of a smile, nodding amiably. Hanli clasped his hands in a brief salute to the other cultivators in the hall, then took a seat upon the wooden chair beside Luluo. This must be Taoist friend Han of the Drifting Cloud sect. I am Wu Peng of the Kauri Leaf sect. We have learned from Brother Lu's mouth that Taoist friend actually entered the nascent soul stage in a mere 2 centuries. You are truly a rare genius among our heavenly south cultivators. Perhaps there is genuine hope for you to achieve the great Tao. Once Hanli was seated, the purple-faced cultivator spoke to him with a smile. Sect Master Wu is too polite. I only entered the nascent soul stage by mere fluke. How could I dare speak of achieving the great Tao? The Kauri Leaf sect was a great sect within the 9 Nations Covenant, standing on equal footing with the Controlling Intent sect. Hanli did not dare be arrogant. While delivering these words, Hanli's gaze swept briefly over the middle-aged beautiful woman seated next to the old man. Since this purple-faced old man was the sect master of the Kauri Leaf sect, this beautiful woman was highly likely a cultivator of the Controlling Intent sect. Sure enough, just as Hanli's thoughts turned, Wu Peng let out a light cough and said, "This is Lady Qi of the Controlling Intent sect. She and I are temporarily in charge of the 9 Nations Covenant's affairs. As for the other Taoist friends..." The old man proceeded to introduce the remaining cultivators within the hall to Hanli one by one. When introduced to Ancestor Ling Hu of the Yellow Maple Valley, this ancestor merely acknowledged him with an expressionless face, showing no particular sign of recognition. Hanli's heart stirred slightly, yet he similarly offered a nod with a calm countenance. After introducing everyone, Wu Peng's expression turned solemn. Taoist friend Han has arrived at precisely the right time. We are currently discussing the matter of the spell warriors, which has far exceeded our original estimations. I heard that Elder Yu and the others at the front lines have suffered another major defeat. Even 2 strategic locations defended by restrictive grand formations were forcefully breached by the giant beasts driven by the enemy. We have lost a great number of cultivators, and even Taoist friend Feng of the Shadow sect perished in this battle. This is already the 2nd nascent soul cultivator to fall since the war with the spell warriors began. It is evident that the Mulen people are coming with ferocious momentum. Our covenant urgently requires the vigorous assistance of our fellow Taoists. Hearing the solemn words of the Kauri Leaf sect master, the smiles upon the faces of the various cultivators vanished entirely. A heavy, grave aura instantly permeated the grand hall. Sect Master Wu, we have also received some news regarding this matter. After all, those fighting the spell warriors at the front lines include disciples from our respective sects currently on duty in your covenant. However, regarding the specific circumstances of Taoist friend Feng's fall, we are truly not very clear. Could Brother Wu explain this matter in detail? To lose nascent soul cultivators in such rapid succession in such a short time is truly somewhat inconceivable. Could it be that the enemy's high-tier spell warriors have deployed in large numbers this early? An old man with a green robe and a bird-like face asked with a dark expression. Upon hearing these words, Hanli cast a few extra glances at this individual. Based on Wu Peng's earlier introduction, this person was an elder of the Spirit Beast sect from the Devil Tao. He wondered what relationship this man had with Liu Yu and Han Yunjai. As for whether the enemy's high-tier spell warriors have fully deployed, our side has not received such news. However, Taoist friend Feng and the previously fallen Taoist friend Liu both perished in one-on-one combat against the enemy. Hearing the green-robed old man's question, Wu Peng bore a peculiar expression. Impossible. Even if facing a mid-nascent soul spell warrior, fleeing for one's life after a defeat should still be achievable. Could it be that the ones who struck were the divine masters among the Mulen people? No, they were merely two early nascent soul spell warriors. However, the two individuals who struck successively were rather bizarre. Not only were their spells exceptionally powerful, but they also utilized an exceedingly strange treasure. After our two Taoist friends suffered defeat, the moment their nascent souls emerged from their bodies, they were instantly trapped by the enemy using this treasure, rendering them unable to even use the teleportation divine ability. Wu Peng explained with a sigh. A nascent soul unable to use teleportation. What manner of treasure is that? Is it an ancient treasure or a magic treasure? Hearing this, the others, including hanli, all underwent a change in expression. One must know, the reason why nascent soul cultivators were exceptionally difficult to kill was precisely because once the nascent soul emerged, it could execute teleportation to flee far away. Now, a treasure capable of restraining this divine ability had actually appeared. How could this not leave this group of cultivators greatly shaken? As for what specific treasure it is, the disciples of our covenant who witnessed the battle from the front lines are also unclear. They merely said that the two individuals flicked their hands, and a streak of black light would flash past, coming and going without a trace, making it impossible to guard against. Furthermore, Wu Peng hesitated for a moment, a look of indecision surfacing on his face. Sect Master Wu, matters have reached such a state. Is there still anything inconvenient to speak plainly? Seeing this, the green-robed old man revealed in displeased expression. It is not that Brother Wu finds it inconvenient to speak plainly, but rather that he feels it is somewhat impossible. Allow this concubine to explain this matter instead. Lady Qi of the controlling intent sect bloomed into a smile, suddenly speaking to diffuse the situation for Wu Peng. Both belonged to sects within the Nine Nations Covenant. She would naturally support him. The matter is as follows. Several disciples observing the battle from the front discovered that the appearances of those two nascent soul spell warriors were exceedingly bizarre. They appeared to directly consume the raw souls of those who died in battle. Moreover, they spared neither spell warrior nor cultivator. Thus, Sect Master Wu harbors some suspicion that those two are not human, but rather took form from some external entities. However, those two individuals bear no obvious demonic or ghostly qi upon their bodies, so those disciples were unable to form an accurate judgment. Speaking of which, among the spell warriors this time, the sudden addition of several exceptionally powerful primeval giant beasts should also be related to these unfamiliar spell warriors. We suspect that the Mulen people may have allied with other factions, allowing them to invade our heavenly south on such a grand scale. External entities. Does Madame refer to transformed spirit beasts? Upon hearing Lady Qi's words, everyone within the hall was greatly shocked. Amidst his alarm, Ancestor Ling Hu questioned in a heavy tone. Highly likely. However, even if they are not spirit beasts, they are evil cultivators who cultivate some demonic or ghostly paths. When did Sect Master Wu obtain this piece of information? Hanli, who had remained silent all this time, asked slowly with a flicker of his eyes. This information was transmitted along with the last battle report. What intention does Taoist friend Han have behind this question? Wu Peng was momentarily startled, stroking the long beard beneath his chin. It is nothing. I merely feel that, regardless of whether those unfamiliar spell warriors are humans or beasts, since they dare to strike so early with such utter disregard, unafraid of us discerning their identities, it seems the Mulen people will not wage a war of attrition as they did in the past. They will likely deliver a thunderous strike, seeking out the main force of our cultivators to decide victory in a single stroke. Could it be that some major upheaval has occurred within the Mulen plains? Hanli rested his chin on his hand, speaking as though lost in thought. Upon hearing Hanli's analytical words, the expressions of Wu Peng and Lady Qi shifted dramatically, and they exchanged a shocked glance. The hearts of the other cultivators similarly sank. The meaning behind Han Li's words was something these old monsters naturally understood completely. The multiple past invasions by the Mulan people had all been wars of attrition. Both the Nine Nations Covenant cultivators and the Mulan spell warriors had done their utmost to avoid a decisive battle between their main forces, because to do so would either result in one side being entirely eradicated or both sides suffering mutual destruction. Fundamentally, the latter scenario was far more common. Neither the Heavenly South cultivators nor the Mulan spell warriors could endure such a heavy blow to their vital energy. Yet looking at it now, the fierce momentum with which the Mulan people came this time was indeed vastly different from their past invasions. Coupled with the appearance of those primeval giant beasts and bizarre spell warriors, no matter how one looked at it, it seemed as though some upheaval had occurred on the Mulan side. Brother Han's words are reasonable. It seems the Mulan people are indeed somewhat unusual. We must not be careless or negligent. Every sect in the Heavenly South must be mobilized. We must immediately dispatch the second wave of reinforcements. Otherwise, should the Mulan people defeat us one by one, it would be disastrous. I hope our fellow Taoists, upon their return, will explain this matter clearly to their respective sects. We must hasten our actions. Relying solely on the strength of our single alliance, we will not be able to hold out for long. After a long silence, Wu Peng let out a bitter smile, speaking heavily. Although what Taoist friend Han says is highly probable, it remains, after all, a matter of speculation. Therefore, aside from our fellow nascent soul Taoists, everyone should temporarily keep today's discussion secret, lest it cause unnecessary chaos. However, if the Mulan people are truly determined to engage in a grand battle against us, their highest-tier divine masters will certainly deploy as well. These late nascent soul spell warriors are not opponents individuals like us can deal with. I will inform Elder Wei Wuya of my sect and see if we can gather the three great cultivators together. After considering it, Lady Qi also voiced her suggestion. The other cultivators also knew that the matter was of grave importance. Harboring no objections, they expressed their agreement one after another. Following this, the group discussed a few relevant details, deciding to first dispatch a wave of reinforcements to delay the Mulan people's advancement speed, thereby granting the various major forces of the Heavenly South time to prepare their forces. Only then did the group conclude this hall council, hurriedly beginning their departures. Hanli walked shoulder to shoulder with Lu Luo and the child fire dragon. Yet the moment they stepped out of the grand hall gates, his expression suddenly shifted, his brows furrowing slightly. "What is it? Does Junior Marshal Brother have some business?" Turning his head and seeing Hanli bearing such an expression, Lu Luo couldn't help but ask in surprise. "It is nothing. An old acquaintance wishes to meet. I am afraid I must go attend to it. Senior Marshal Brother and Brother Lan may go ahead first. This Junior Brother shall return shortly." Junior Marshal Brother Han may proceed with his own affairs. I shall return first to inform our fellow Heavenly Tao Alliance members of what we discussed today, and then transmit the news back to Senior Marshal Brother to see how the various sects of our Heavenly Tao Alliance intend to handle this matter. To the side, the child fire dragon's lips curled slightly, a smirk surfacing on his face. After walking only a few paces, Lu Luo cast a glance toward the direction in which Hanli had vanished. "What? Is Brother Lu somewhat worried?" The child fire dragon beside him asked with a half-smile. "Worried? What is there to be worried about? Even if I do not say it, Brother Lu yourself should have guessed. This Taoist friend Han formerly originated from the Yellow Maple Valley, and that old monster Ling who appears just like your Senior Marshal Brother, both are individuals whose lifespans are drawing to a close. Currently, within the Yellow Maple Valley, aside from old monster Ling Hu, there is no second nascent soul cultivator. I'm afraid old monster Ling Hu has long been burning with anxiety, has he not? After all, if it were a small sect, it wouldn't matter much. But for a sect as large as the Yellow Maple Valley, if they lack a nascent soul cultivator to oversee them, they will not only fall into terminal decline, but even suffer the calamity of sect extermination. Moreover, just now, someone clearly transmitted their voice to Taoist friend Han. If it weren't old monster Ling Hu, that would be truly strange. Child Fire Dragon curled his lip as he spoke. How did Brother Lan learn of Junior Martial Brother Han's former origins? I do not recall ever speaking of this matter to you. Luluo did not answer directly. Instead, he considered it for a moment and countered. Why would I need Brother Lu to tell me? Within your noble sect, there suddenly appeared such a young, newly advanced elder. Our ancient sword sect would naturally investigate a bit. It is not as though this is some secret matter. Hearing the Child Fire Dragon speak in this manner, Luluo found it hard to say anything further. However, after considering it, he still shook his head and said, "For Junior Martial Brother Han to go meet an old acquaintance from the past is not a strange occurrence. Had he wished to return to the Yellow Maple Valley, he naturally would have returned long ago. Why would he wait until today? While that may be true, that old monster Ling Hu is exceptionally cunning. Since he was willing to invite Taoist friend Han, he must naturally possess a certain degree of confidence in moving him." Luluo fell into silence. After a long while, he let out a long sigh. Let everything follow its natural course. Should Junior Martial Brother Han truly wish to return to the Yellow Maple Valley, could Senior Martial Brother and I truly bind him to prevent his return? Hanli currently stood upon a secluded small street, constantly sizing up his surroundings. Suddenly, his figure paused, his gaze falling upon a certain two-story pavilion. Before the door hung a small banner upon which was written a massive character for T. Outside the pavilion stood two male Foundation establishment cultivators in yellow robes looking toward Han Li. "Greetings, Senior Han. Grandmaster is currently within, awaiting Senior's arrival." The moment these two saw Han Li approach, they immediately lowered their hands respectfully and spoke. The entire pavilion was completely silent, appearing entirely devoid of people. After a slight hesitation, Han Li ascended to the second floor. Upon showing his head, he saw that aside from a single individual, the second floor was similarly desolate to the extreme. The sole seated individual was dressed in yellow robes, his face a sallow yellow. It was precisely ancestor Ling Hu, from whom he had only just parted in the Grand Hall. That concludes today's commentary. Fellow Taoists who enjoyed this, please leave a like and follow to support us. We shall see you in the next episode.